What's up, bitches? Welcome to the Listen Bitch podcast with your host, Brandon Lynette. It's hump day. You're making it halfway through the week, and I'm excited for you because I know you implement the shit I talk about, and you're starting to see the reality of what it is to step into the power of being the best version of you. I see it. I see you. Keep working. My message, the message that the podcast is based on today is really funny. It was just, hey, Brandon, how can I stop losing my shit? Okay. So we're going to talk about that, how to stop letting your emotions get the best of you. Okay. Um, my first piece of advice is to tune into all of my Monday episodes. I talk about microdosing, and I feel like that's where you got to go. Okay. Just do it. You guys, you make this so much easier on yourself. You'll make it so much easier on me because all of a sudden, everything I say really starts to click. It's like a puzzle piece. You start seeing it all fit together and you're like, holy shit. So today started off kind of wonky. My, Mother Nature came to congratulate me on not being pregnant. Okay. And she comes with a vengeance 3 days of the month, like she's whatever, does her thing. So, I already had this little thing of like, man, maybe I shouldn't go to the gym, okay? Because I don't want to be. Maybe I shouldn't go to the gym, okay? Um, but I have a treadmill and some weights in the garage, so I was going through my workout, thinking, do I have everything I need in there? Can I complete this workout to the best of my ability and still feel like I got a really good workout in? And you know what's crazy? The first thought when I was like, maybe I won't go to the gym, and this was after, I was already deciding maybe I wouldn't go. Um, my alarm goes off and I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm gonna go. So I went into the bathroom and I was, brushing my teeth really fast. And little girl comes in bawling, like, please don't leave me. And you guys, I'm a sucker for that kid. That's not gonna last very long. Pretty soon she's gonna be like the rest of my kids and be like, Mom, when are you leaving? So, that sealed the deal for me. So I was like, oh, baby girl, I'm coming back to bed. Don't you worry about it. So anyway, my first thought when I was thinking about not going right away was like, oh, what if that little lady at the gym thinks I'm a slacker? Like, why am I auto programmed to worry about what someone else thinks? Okay. Because there's a sweet lady every single morning. She's very excited to say good morning. And I mean, that's their job, right? But and always make sure she says to have a great day. Even if she's talking to people, she steps around them. She's like, have a great day, young lady. Like she's just really nice. And I thought, man, what if she thinks I suck and I'm slacking today? It wasn't about me. It wasn't about like, man, what if you let yourself down? So I want you guys to know these automatic programming issues are going to come up forever because I'm very aware of my autoresponder. Okay. I'm aware of it. It's in my um conscious aware, it's in my awareness. Okay. So I catch it. And just catching that, I was like, man, that could be a little discouraging, right? Just feeling like, well, I'm still worried what people think because I fight that so hard. I fought that my whole life. I don't care what people think. But the truth is I do. I put up a post the other day and I'm asking everyone in my Listen Bitch Facebook group. If you're not there and you're interested in journal prompts, I post those Monday through Friday. You get journal prompts from me in that group, but there's not a lot of interaction. There's, I don't know, like 250 or 300 people in that group and not a lot of reaction. I can see how many people are looking at the post, but I was genuinely curious of like, is this something? Because, I'm starting a new group. I'm, processing through with this new marketing company. Um, so I'll take out anything that's not serving people or serving me. And I thought, well, if no one's interacting in this group, I'll go ahead and let it go. And I'm really proud of myself because there were a lot of people that were like, yeah, I'm here. I only listen to Monday episode and I don't do the journal prompts. Quite a few people. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, if there's one person, because that's what started all of this, you guys. One person, okay? Even if I just had one listen a day on my podcast, which I have way more than one a day. So thank you guys. I can see the numbers. I know how many people are here. I just don't know if you bitches are in the group. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Um, so I'm like, even if one person, and what do you know? More than one person messaged me um about how much it meant to them to be able to have that kickstart for their conversations and how it's helping, them start to be aware of their emotions, because that's our point here. That's why, Brandon, why do I keep, losing my shit? Okay. That's why it's an autoresponder, babe. You ever say something like when you're just pissed off and you have rumbled up emotions, you say something out of anger. How do you feel after that's done? And how long do you spend wishing that you could have done things differently? Because you're not alone in this, okay? We've all done the things we're not proud of because we make, our emotions get the best of us. Sometimes you get, and it happens to everyone all the time. Literally, my husband was pissed off the other day. He didn't even tell any of us bye. Like when he left for work, it was just a silent treatment. So everybody goes through that. Everybody gets pissed off. And I guarantee I don't think he felt very good because we weren't here the next day and, he missed us. But that's the awareness of like, when we're here, are you here? Are you plugged into us? Don't feel alone because this is typical shit. Okay. This is human life. We are not striving for a level of perfection here. We are trying to be the best version of who we can be. And that gets messy. That gets messy. I still care genuinely what people think. And it's an autoresponder. Is it going to rule my day? Was I like, oh no, Bug, I'm sorry. I have to leave you crying at the top of the stairs because what if this lady really does judge me for not being at the gym? Right? That's what I told myself. Let's do that. No, I'm not going to do that. And I didn't think twice about, her missing me. It'll be a simple conversation in the morning. She'll be like, missed you yesterday. And I'll be like, oh, the baby caught me out the door. That happened once last week too. So it's just a matter of not letting those things rule us. And that's why we're losing our shit, because we're letting it rule us. Sometimes you get so emotional about something that it affects how we interact with other people and it affects our decisions. And our mood affects us more than we can imagine. With just one wrong move based on your emotions, we can make the best or the worst decisions in our lives. Okay. How much has pride fucked you up? We have to keep our emotions in our awareness and manage how they're affecting us and what our perception is. I say it all the time. A lot of people say you've got to control your emotions. I don't know that I'm a fan of that because I can't really control them. I don't think it's about controlling them because that's when we start to hoard them. That's when we start to repress them. That's when we're not feeling them. But if we can just let them have their space in that awareness, this is where we're getting strong mentally and emotionally. And it's possible to be able to have peace with your emotions, okay? Even the ugly ones. Like everything else, you can learn to manage them through practice and consistency. How do you get good at something? You practice. So let's talk about some steps to, just gain better management, okay? Perspective over your emotions. And this is kind of close to what we talked about yesterday. So I guess that's the message of the week is just emotions and awareness. And I feel like we talk about this a lot because it is life, because it's an everyday experience and you're going to see it differently. Just like this stuff means something different to me today because of my experience throughout the week. So it's just part of the reminders, part of that practice. You've got to identify your triggers, right? If you're going to fight someone in the ring, knowing your opponent is the best way to have any kind of advantage in the fight. Know what triggers you to the point of losing it. What is really pissing you off, especially as a mom? I know I used to lose my shit all the time. It's that lack of control. Your kids are growing up and becoming their own people, and you can't control that. That's unnerving because you just want them to behave in a way that makes you comfortable, right? But no, their personalities are going to come out. And unfortunately, I've got an angry bear. One of my kids is like, she comes by that honestly from her dad. She's mad. And I don't know if it's the loss of control. It's going to be something we have to work through as she learns to communicate. When I'm asking her, like, what are you feeling? And this is a long time after because there is no way to talk to her when she's in it, right? But we talk about like, where do you feel this anger in your body? Like what really frustrated you, and part of her thing is lack of control. Okay. She's number 5 of 6 kids. there is no control. There's always someone bigger, older, more responsibility doing the thing. She's in that little, boundary of like still being a kid, but, becoming a little more mature. And I get it. I get it. But it's about being able to identify that. When you identify your triggers, it's easier to dodge or see them coming. My sound is squirrely again, so I hope that everything sounded good because I'm not starting over, babe. I'm not doing it. Um, so you want to identify the situation. I'm the other day, I'm at the hospital with my daughter and I'm posting, trying to set up my TikTok posts, okay? And while you're posting it, when your video is loading, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with TikTok. When your video is loading, it pulls up videos while you're waiting. So if Wi-Fi is slow, you're just sitting there like watching videos. And this video came up and I don't know how it got on my page because usually I have like, dancing chickens and goats and cats and shit. Okay. That's my TikTok. Um, this mom left her daughter in a playpen for 10 days and went on vacation. So I was triggered. Okay. That physically hurt me. And my eyes immediately welled up with tears when I don't even know what pulled me to reading that. I was just like imagining a baby for 10 days. I never let my kids cry for 30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds. It was breaking my heart. I'm like, oh, I need to help them because they're helpless. So just imagining like this woman is alive and walking around and I was triggered. Okay. I'm like, they need to just take her out and be done. Okay. That the most cruel death I can imagine anybody dying. Um, is being a helpless baby in a crib and just no one comes for you. Like that's insane to me. So I was very triggered. So I looked at Shay and I'm like, why did this come up here? I can't, this shit can't come up to me because I don't have the emotional maturity and the capacity to handle this kind of stuff right now, you know? So she showed me how I can block videos like that. So you better believe if I start to even think something is squirrely on that page when I'm waiting for videos to load, I right away go to that block thing because I just know. And it's like, if you realize that watching violent movies reminds you of old memories that cause you pain, you can avoid watching movies with violence. Like we just learn our triggers and we just stay out of the way. Okay. We find more of the things we like. So right away after, I watch this horrific video, I'm like, all right, where's my dancing chickens? Okay. Where's my baby cows? Where's the goats? Where's the cool stuff that, the things I do like? Um, and you want to think with whatever reaction you're having, okay? You've got to analyze your impact. You have to think about the after effects of whatever actions you have. If you lose your shit on your kids, how does that feel? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good because no matter how much it hurts you, like you're destroying who they are. It's their character. They don't get a voice if you're constantly losing your shit because you're the adult. You're a whole ass adult. So losing your shit, that affects them in the long term. So it's going to help you if you stop to think about the impact of your actions before you make a move. Ask yourself these questions. Am I reacting on an impulse? Is my decision right? How would it affect those around me? And how would I feel about this later? I know whenever I've lost it on the kids, I feel dirty. I feel sick. I feel ugh, because I know, especially the older girls, they had angry mom for 2 solid years. Angry, checked out, you know, over drinking, unhealthy, emotional spiraling mom. And that has affected them, for a decade. So I know what the trickle down effect is of our reactions. And what happens too sometimes, like because of our fucking ego, okay, we refuse to accept how we feel. And this is a step you can't skip. You have to accept your emotions. And I know it's hard. If you're a very prideful person, it's hard to muster up the courage to say, you hurt me because that makes us vulnerable. And we've had this whole persona of we have to be tough our entire lives. I know, I've had that reputation. People just think I'm invincible. I'm not. I'm the softest person you will ever meet. I am very emotional. I'm very aware. And, I have all the feelings. I brag about being a lone wolf, but I love people. I love those feelings and I'm absolutely in touch with them. And sometimes that's counterintuitive. It doesn't help me. Um, but out of ego, we're refusing to accept how we feel. So when we get so overwhelmed by emotions that we can't tell what we're even feeling in the moment, we have to take some time to point that out. Covering your emotions or pretending not to feel how you feel, it just makes it worse. It doesn't make it go away. You make yourself sick. Anger sometimes disguises emotions that feel weak, it's okay, like guilt or embarrassment. Um, and I think we need to talk about guilt tomorrow because that was another conversation I had this week. So I'm going to write that down for myself right now so I don't forget because a lot happens in 24 hours. Speaking of bitch, I'm going to tell you guys, we went to tomorrow is guilt. We went down to the beach yesterday. If you look on my Facebook or my Instagram, you guys could see the pictures. It was gorgeous, like t-shirt weather. I did see a picture on Facebook this morning that said Michiganders today, and it's Kid Rock with just some swimming trunks on running around the beach like a wild animal. And that was pretty much us, minus we had clothes on. Okay. That's how it is. And 24 hours later, there's a snowstorm right now. It's pretty wild. So I might sneak down there. I think I'm calling a snow day for the kids because they've been doing so great, working hard, doing their workouts, Bible studies, all the things. So I might call that since their big sister's here. So I might go take a picture and show that 24 hours. But yeah, give it time, okay? Give give this time. Suppressing your emotions is going to cause you to turn to unhealthy coping habits like, for me, it was alcohol or food abuse or, people turn to drugs and just even people abuse, right? Like you've got a spouse that, is abusing a spouse. And sometimes this comes because they're projecting, they feel weak. And so they're going to do something crazy that makes them feel strong. Definitely not defending abusers in any way. I'm just saying this is where that comes from. And then you've got to find a solution. So staying calm for a few minutes or walking away from the scene, this is going to help you manage and tap into what you're really feeling. So you've got to look for practical ways to perceive your emotions when you find yourself in situations that could trigger you. Um, at the end of the day, you guys, communication is the biggest issue when it comes to emotions, unresolved emotions, because we're not just feeling the stuff by ourselves, right? There's a whole ass person usually involved. And so what I tend to do now that I'm not so reactive, I'm not like, snapping at the kids all the time, but I am very clear about my communication. So, our schedule changed the past 2 weeks. And I make it very clear, like, hey, you guys, bedtime for us is 9 o'clock. I have the girls upstairs. I have the house clean. Everything's done. And I expect it to look like this when I wake up, meaning they're going to stay up and do the things, but they have boundaries and guidelines. So when I communicate that and it's not respected, like if I go here and I find out that they were on video games, last night, because they can watch movies or they can read books. Anything else, like they're in trouble, or not in trouble, but they lose their game time for the day, whatever you want to call it. But I communicate effectively. Okay. You've got a situation where something keeps hurting you and you're feeling triggered from it. You've got to talk about it because sometimes even just saying something out loud gives you a different perspective. And you're like, oh, I kind of am overreacting on this now that I hear it out loud. So then you learn another way to package and process whatever it is you're feeling. But honestly, the most complicated, unresolved issues result from poor communication. And another way to learn to manage the emotions is to learn how to express them to someone else's understanding, being able to communicate in their language so they understand. And it's not about like, you make me feel like this, okay? Because that's going to make people feel defensive there too. So it's a matter of owning the responsibility of, look, my brain spirals out of control. And this is how I feel when you say something like this. This is how I spiral. So, whatever needs to happen in this conversation to give me an understanding of your perspective, because this is kind of what it's making me feel like, right? Like just gently talking about and setting boundaries of being firm in what you're feeling, knowing that something needs to change and not with blame. Okay. We're not trying to blame anybody. But being worked up by your feelings in that moment, being reactive, it blinds you from seeing how you're expressing them. Maybe you don't even know that you're being a dick, you know? Maybe you just don't even know. So if someone can complicate, if someone can communicate that to you, it makes things less complicated. But this all takes work and it takes mind training. And I 10 out of 10 recommend microdosing because all of a sudden there is no piece of me that has to react right away. There's, you know, Jesus, I can go forever. There was a time where, if I had an issue with my husband, I couldn't go to bed without talking about it. And now there's been something I needed to talk to him about for like weeks, and I'm just fine with it. Like, it wasn't something that was like an immediate issue in the relationship. It's not whatever. It's just something I needed to say. And I wasn't reactive about it. Like, I was fine to just understand it was me. I was owning this, um, taking into account the kind of person he is, that, how I took it is not how he meant it. I kind of could talk myself through shit. There's no reactiveness. There's no crazy like urge to suddenly fix everything. Okay. Cause that's like a control freak mindset. That's someone who is just letting their emotions do all the work, and you're never going to get to that place of peace. You're never going to rule you everything, and it's funny because you hear people say all the time, hey, you want to do XYZ? And they're like, oh, I'll see how I feel. Like what? What do you mean see how you feel? You're gonna let your emotions decide when you're gonna leave the house again? 'Cause that's not fun. That's when you give in to that identity crisis and you have the anxiety and the depression and all these things. And for what? You're missing all the magic. You're missing all the magic. You're meant to experience all these things. Emotions are not bad. They're just a part of what we need to experience here. So keep going through your day and collect the things you like and just, set to the side the things you don't. Just have it in your awareness of like, okay, I don't really like that. Like it's good to know what you don't like because then you can focus more on what you do like. And every day you just start a whole collection of the things you like and you focus on that because that more of that comes to you. I like not being responsive, and you better believe I get tested. I get tested all day. I mean, these kids are like UFC fighting in here, and I'm just like, hey guys. So, you know, knock it the fuck off, right? There's no reactiveness. There's no saying things that I regret. And I've done that a lot to my older girls, and I still like very key moments in their lives where I've said things and I still am apologizing for that. It gets me. Um, so we don't want to live our life full of regret and guilt. And we'll talk about why tomorrow. Okay. So happy hump day, bitches. If you are in the Facebook group, let me know how that group, if it's serving you, if not, that's cool too. Um, and make sure you share the podcast with a friend. People I don't that probably could use this little tool, little reminders every day on what it is to step into the power and the potential of who you can really be. So I love you guys. Have a great day. I'm going to go snuggle some babies.